Resolve. When it cannot do both, UN should prioritize poverty over climate change. Almost 50% of the world population live with less than $2 per day. Good afternoon, distinguished guests, teachers, and students. Today we are gathered here to discuss an important topic that during many years have affected human society. United Nations should prioritize poverty over climate change? Yes, because poverty directly affects humans more than climate change could. There are several reasons that led to poverty in the world, as economical problems made by war, GDP in some countries, economical crisis, unemployment, and climate change is also a factor.
You know that climate change is a terrible aspect and a problem. Climate change must be addressed or poverty will grow. Climate change will dramatically alter the decay balance of our world. Will increase the natural disasters like hurricanes, tornadoes, and others.
Good afternoon, distinguished guests, students, teachers. It is completely unacceptable that dignity of the human being should be held over the protection of the environment. It's a reality that climate change affects as natural disasters help poverty to increase. But those are not the only reasons why poverty is affecting the human society during many years. There are many other reasons as economical problems, political problems, and wars. Poverty is an imminent problem that affects everybody in the world. 1,300 million people live below the line of poverty. 100 million people live in these conditions on industrialized countries. Those countries, those we think they were developed. Poverty is affecting too much people around the world, not just a few. Each single person who breathes in this planet is affected by poverty. Each 3.5 seconds, a child dies in the world due to poverty. This means that when I got finished this speech, 68 children will be dead in the world. Thank you.
As my opponents mentioned in their constructive speech, addressing that the UN is most obligated by reducing humanitarian and poverty needs. Well, you can say that poverty is a humanitarian need, but if you, the audience, take into account that the UN is a great body of governance, not from charity, that is a vehicle for national governments to voice their concerns. However, national governments, not the UN, should prioritize local poverty of each of their countries, with their territories, cities, and towns. This monster is really here. It has been demonstrated by millions and millions of poor people that depend on agricultural activities. At a government level, much remains to be done. With the World Bank and the International Monetary Fund. Climate change is one of the greatest threats of global poverty. As my opponent mentioned, that education is the main factor of global warming. Well, pollution is too. You mentioned that every 3.5 seconds a child dies because of the lack of clean water, and 40 million suffer malnutrition. My argument is that developing countries should create equal conditions to basic access to water, energy, and food. Extreme hot weather affects agriculture. So why not give a priority to climate change if it affords the most factors of poverty?
All the children that are dying because they have no clean water. The approximately 40 million children that suffer malnutrition. This is not caused by climate change. We are completely sure that this is caused by poverty. Because think for a moment in this, all those people live with less than $2, in some cases $1 per day. This is absolutely poor people. So how can they pay for food, water, and all their needs? These problems are not caused by climate change. They don't have enough money to buy a piece of bread. This is not climate change. This is poverty.
Education should be a key for poverty to decrease. If poor people have the possibility to change their economical situation, it will be easy to improve the way of survival. As an example, let's mention agriculture. Climate change cannot affect a crop as it will if agriculture is well developed. These organizations have always been used to improve the human welfare and also to solve conflicts, economical crises, or social problems.
These and all arguments given by our team show you, the audience, and all the world that we can combat poverty. We can work for a fair world for everybody, not just for some few ones. We have the solution in our hands. Let's take it. Let's finish with all those 40 million children that suffer from malnutrition. Come on, people, let's open our eyes.
We only have one planet. We must ensure that we take care of it as long as we live in it. Not only the poor, but all of us, each single living thing, we're taken from what President Barack Obama said. No matter large or small, wealthy or poor, can escape from the impact of climate change. The future of people with low economic resources is no longer a choice between growing economy or a cleaner planet, because their survival depends on both. I hope this December in Copenhagen will join the collective courage to act. With these words, it is too clear for you, the audience, that combating climate change must be a priority. World is in your hands. What do you do is going to be what you're going to do in the future. Thank you.